So I wanted to go over some tips for drawing the hand. We're going to talk about this geometrically as opposed to anatomically, so you won't need to learn the individual bones of the hand or all the muscles, okay? So I'm going to translate it into blocks. We're going to talk about a right hand roughly at this angle. Okay, so as block formations, let's treat the wrist as a block, the palm as its own block, okay? The purpose of this lesson is to get you to be more aware of the fact that the fingers and the thumb are kind of on separate planes, okay? So your four fingers are going to come out of the palm, but the thumb is going to come out of a separate shape, okay? So think of a wedge. Attached to that block of the palm, right? It's like a three-dimensional triangle. So if the fingers are going to be coming out of the palm, let's really roughly put those in there. Okay. The thumb is going to be at its own angle. Right. So notice that the nail of the thumb is on a completely different plane than the nails of the fingers. Okay. So I want you guys to keep that in mind when you draw hands. Let's go over some tips for drawing feet. Okay, so I've noticed that a lot of drawing students tend to shrink feet. This might be because you're not confident in the structure of the feet, so you kind of shrink it down so it's less noticeable in your drawing. But what happens is it becomes even more noticeable that you can't draw feet because they're too small. So first of all, I want you to understand that the length of the foot is almost as long as the shin, right? If you put one of your feet on your other leg, this will become apparent, right? So it's important to have large structural feet, to have a believable figure with believable weight, right? So let's start by drawing a right foot from the view of like the big toe side, so like the inner foot. We're going to talk about this the same way we talk about the hands, more geometrically, so we're not going to go into all the individual bones of the feet or the muscles. Okay, so think about the foot as a wedge. So the main structure of the foot is going to be this large wedge. Okay, so that, let's make that a little shorter. Your tibia on the inside becomes your ankle, right? You have this large wedge shape. So this will be the big toe side. So some important structures are your Achilles tendon, right? I want you to draw it really sharply, really quickly. It'll make it look like it's taut, like a piano wire full of tension. Okay, let's segue the shape a little bit and treat the big toe, or like the root of the big toe, as its own shape, okay? Okay. And then we might get to see a little bit of the other toes, right? But if you're on that big toe side, you're gonna have a little bit of a curve. Okay. So let's do the other view, okay? Let's do a left foot from that outer side, from the pinky toe side. So this, from this view, the fibula would be on the outside, creating that ankle, right? These two bones with the wedge shape in between them, that heel bone, your sharp Achilles tendon, segue a little bit. Now, from the pinky toe side, it's going to be a lot flatter. Okay, it's not going to have as much of that arch of the foot. Okay, about here, you can kind of treat the pinky toe root as a block. Okay, so I'm just going to gesture some toes in here. Your ring toe and your index toe, for lack of better terms, are kind of twins. They kind of do the same thing. And then we'll have that big toe in the distance, okay? So yeah, you might see like this little block kind of formation in there, this strong shape. It's going to be a lot flatter from this angle. It's not going to have that S curve in there. So make strong structural feet, right? Let's even exaggerate this archway a little bit more, right? Strong feet, not wet little floppy socks. Okay, so keep this in mind when you draw feet.